mobile application development lifecycle. So enjoy the talk. And let's give a big hand to Krista.
Hello. So the presentation name is changed a little bit since I first initially thought about it. What we're going to be talking about is myself. I have about 10 years in IT. I worked as a Java developer for most of them, and for the last 5 years with a focus on web development, so using HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript technologies. I am leading the mobile practice area at IBM, which is a practice area that we're just starting to build up right now. But luckily we have a lot of help from IBM Global, which has already a lot of experience in working with mobile applications. Right, so this is just to convince you guys that we know what we're talking about. So IBM is positioned as ranking in the top in terms of capability and strategy at mobile capabilities. As well, we have a platform which is also ranked as being one of the pretty good ones in mobile development, which is IBM WorkLife. We started on the mobile path a few years back, and we did this in different ways, right? In the beginning we started acquiring different companies that were already building tools to aid in mobile development, and we also expanded and started building up the capability that we have in mobile around the world. We have different centers focused either on going to clients and producing new custom applications or improving their existing business processes. We have centers which are focused purely on taking the acquisitions or the products that we have already acquired and making them work better and integrating them together. And we also have put a lot of work into research, right? Taking mobile to the next level, and that kind of paid off. So we have several patents. We have more than 1,000 client engagements, more than 200 software apps available on app stores, etc. And these statistics are from 2012, something like that. So, in terms of mobile and the momentum we are seeing right now, it's huge, right? It's like an explosion. Memory, it's something that we are using right now and that we will be using in the future a lot. Companies that are not keeping up with this, that do not have a mobile channel right now, will have to suffer in the future. So it's something that's very out there. Yeah? What's also very interesting is the fact that you can collect and aggregate types of interactions that are happening between mobile devices and the world, and sort of try to analyze and see what you can do extra, right? How can you provide new services, and how can you change existing business processes that you have? And we're seeing this in mostly all of the industries, right? What was before, just so when we're going to clients initially, right? We were saying, let us help you build new applications for, create new services for your clients. We were talking about, let's optimize your existing business processes, right? Talking about let us sell you some software that we have, in terms of database, in terms of application servers, whatever we're doing. And by the way, since we're doing business with you, would you mind that perhaps we can also create your website could be tuned in order to look nice on a mobile device, right? Right, here they're divided in 4 quadrants. Basically, it's very difficult to create mobile applications that run on every type of device. that's usually the challenge, because there's so many devices, there's so many operating systems out there. It's difficult to create, a unified user experience on all of them, and usually that's what clients demand. People want to be always connected with their mobile devices, and usually also what clients are expecting from us is to deliver this mobile applications fast and in very good quality. So we're having this issue, also looking at the fragmentation of mobile devices right now, where connectivity is also an issue. Right. So the way we go around trying to solve all of this is, I have a few slides that will talk about DevOps, which is a lifecycle methodology that we are trying to use more and more in mobile applications, and we'll see why. And then I have a few words about WorkLight, which is a software platform that we use for mobile application delivery. So DevOps is anyone familiar with DevOps? Show of hands. Okay, 2 people. So, right. So the question is, how are you going to be able to accelerate software delivery? How can you create apps fast and with good quality? And there's also a question when you're talking about quality, how can you get constant and repetitive feedback from your clients in order to be able to produce that wonderful app that satisfies all the business requirements? And of course, when we're building apps, we're using an agile approach, right? So that's all good. We have different phases. We do them in an iterative way. We're trying to involve all the stakeholders to give them a visibility over the. It's a capability, right? And we call it continuous delivery. In order to get there, you can do several things, right? So one of the things is to have teams, interdisciplinary teams, right? So because at every point you will have issues when you may have issues, when you're talking about deploying, when you're talking about building and testing. Right? Third thing would be try to always monitor and validate the quality characteristics of your operational team, right? So the way they are building up environments, the way they are doing builds, the way they are setting up environments and so forth. Right. And the fourth thing is do as many production releases as possible. So we're not talking about nightly builds, we're talking about multiple daily builds, right? That's the goal, right? Move things to production very fast. So that you need those production releases very fast. And in the end, it helps you reduce the time to delivery and also allows you to take, to use market opportunities. Next topic is about the IBM WorkLight Foundation. Building mobile apps that can run on different environments, and we're talking about Android, iOS, Windows Phone, etc. When we're talking about connecting, we're talking about the way you connect to those existing backend systems, whether they are an enterprise or whether they are cloud-based, right? How do you connect well to services, to these types of services? And we're talking about running, we're talking about the artifacts produced by WorkLight and being able to deploy this in some cases automatically to app stores, right? Either private or public. And we're talking about managing, we're talking about registering users, being able to regulate the way they have access to different apps, and also about being able to do sort of a remote not sort of a remote updates to applications or disabling different features remotely, right? These are functions for the administrators. And Worklight is composed of do it in a purely mobile type of way, which means basically building a web page that looks very nice on your mobile device. These are the two ends. And in the middle, you have hybrid applications, which are basically applications developed with web-like technologies, HTML, JavaScript, and then wrapping this code in a native wrapper, and which then is able to run on your mobile device, right? This is close to PhoneGap, which if any of you know about it, is basically incorporated in the Worklight foundation components. What the IDE offers you extra is also different integrated device SDKs. You can do functional testing with it, so it integrates with IBM Workbench Tester, I think. That's the name of the tool, which basically allows you to functionally test your apps. You can create or sort of record tests and then be able to play them back on emulators, right, or devices. So that's the Worklight Studio, right? Once you have deployed, once you have built an app using the Worklight Studio, you can already deploy it on a Worklight Application Center, which is basically an app store, your private app store, and then download it on your device, right? On your device, you will have the device runtime, which is basically just the wrapper that I mentioned, but also some extra functionality. So not just giving you, the possibility to connect to the native functionality of your device, but also being able to have, an encrypted storage on your device, right, to use as an offline storage method, let's say. You have different runtime skins, so if you're deploying your app on one type of phone, it will be able to detect at runtime and what it does is basically the device runtime can communicate with the component that you have already deployed on the work. It allows you to connect to, configure the connection that you will have with the REST services perhaps in the backend, or with SOAP services, or with you connect to LDAP, you can connect to a database using SQL. So it's a wizard type of approach, which allows you to rapidly create the means to connect to backend services. Besides that, what you have on the Worklight server is some extra functionality as well, such as the unified push notifications and several other things. Right? This is the way you can do direct updates, so remote automatic updates. And what you also have is the Worklight console, which is the way in which you can configure different things on the Worklight server. It's an administrative console. So basically, those are the five components of Worklight. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, I'm really curious to find them out. So that means no questions, I guess. I will. Okay. So there's questions.
Hey, how do you ensure quality in this approach? Because I haven't really.
So what do you mean about quality?
I guess all the testing
Capability that's part of the Worklight Studio, which allows you to sort of record functional tests on an emulator or on a device, and then play them back. Right, so that's also a way of doing testing.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
I had a question about one of your slides. If you can go back, I think, to the slide just before, yeah, this one. On the third column, you have a picture of Eindhoven and the electric buses. I'm just curious, it might be a bit off topic, but do you have any info about the project or what you did there or something? I know the city pretty well, so that's why I'm asking.
No, so I don't have too much info about Eindhoven and this specific project, but we're doing, we're doing projects in across different industries, and this is related more or less to government, right? And the idea with this slide was just to show new things that you can create using specific capabilities that you only have on mobile devices, right? And also the way mobile devices connect to other types of devices, right? It brings up a whole new, range of possibilities when you're doing this type of things. So I guess that's the idea behind this. To be honest, real-time redirection to optimal routes. Right. Do you know anything about this project? Because I've heard of other similar projects where you have systems detecting what's the flow on a specific route just by looking at how many people are, with mobile devices are on that route, and then being able to display that info to other people, just giving them traffic information and stuff like that. So that's definitely possible. So I guess if it's here, yeah. So if we're talking in Romania, then we have plans to grow.
Romania, yes.
Yeah, so we have big plans of growing. As I said, there's a big explosion in mobile enthusiasm right now, and we are putting mobile first with our clients, and we're getting a lot of demand. We're getting a lot of projects.
One more question about the work life.
Sure.
Like,
So yes, test automation is possible. Running tests and collecting results, definitely. I'm not sure if it integrates with the tool you mentioned earlier. So, but definitely a way to be able to run tests and then collect data is something that you can do. And you can do this across devices.
Okay, and the last question.
If I'm building one application with PhoneGap, do I have to declare the PhoneGap, or is built into WorkLife?
So PhoneGap or Apache Cordova is built into WorkLife.
So WorkLife will recognize all my PhoneGap calls. I don't have to declare it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically a bunch of libraries, right, that you have with that are able to run your JavaScript code and translate that into native calls, right? So the calls might not look exactly the same, the ones that you do from JavaScript, but the capabilities are similar and they're there, right? So you might just have to change around the names a little bit of the JavaScript methods.
And it's going to be one extra wrapper. How fast will the responses could be? Like, for example, if I have one application with complex animations, will be fast enough?
So this is a good question. There's always a debate, why should you go native, why should you go hybrid? Right, so in a hybrid app, you will never be able to achieve the same performance as you will with, purely native code, right? However, we've been working a lot on these libraries, and the idea is to try to bring them as close to native performance. However, you will never get there, right? So I guess it's always a question of the type of app that you're doing and the type of functionality that you want to build in.